make better use of your forage. Analyse your forage, know what it is, so that you can supplement it properly. I think you could almost take that to trace elements here as well. Analyse if your trace elements, find out what you've really got, and then make sure your supplements can be done properly. Most of your feed companies, we will do it all free for you in terms of energy, protein. If you want a mineral analysis done, a huge cost of 28 quid. If you do one every 5 years, it won't change very much, I promise you. Because minerals come from the soil, and the soil doesn't change. I think this year we may have to move all those arrows quite a lot. If you can make, I'm a dairy farmer's son, and I'm interested in those big black and white things. If we make bad silage, we have a bad year. End of story. That's as simple as that. A lot of beef and sheep farmers have room to improve their forages. If you take the red line, that is actually what most people end up doing. And if you look at the energy requirement of the ewe, which is rising as she goes towards lambing, if you've got poor quality or average quality forage, you're going to have to feed on that red line. If you can make good forage, you can feed on the green line. Now, it doesn't really matter what year it is. If you can make good forage in this year, it might be average in a good year. We've had a really bad year. But if you can make good forage, you'll spend less money. Again, I'm not telling you anything you don't really know. That's the energy requirement of a 75 kilo twin bearing ewe. As she's 2 weeks away from lambing, she's looking for 19 megajoules of energy a day, and she's got a very small amount of space to put it in. Again, good stuff, and if you can make good stuff at your own place, that's a lot better. A lot of feeds that you get sold aren't very good. Low in ME, poor quality protein, we'll talk about that a bit more, poor mineral vitamin profiles. Don't buy on price is all I would say. Buy on what's in it, ask them what's in it, have a look at the raw materials, get some. If you're not up to date with what's good and what's bad, get someone in it. There's lots of us out there who come in and offer you advice. Whether it's worth it or not is up to you, but there's lots of us out there who do it for nothing. I almost guarantee the cheapest is the poorest, but it's not often that the dearest is the best either. Energy is the most important thing as we approach lambing, obviously. As much as you can from your homegrown forage, because that's the cheapest way. We're looking for sugar, starch, and some form of digestible fibres. This year, molasses. And we've got tanks. If you've got tanks and you've got room to put it, molasses is cheap this year. You buy molasses roughly, I won't you're a long way down here, transport might cost a penny or two, but you're roughly speaking about 160 quid for a tonne of molasses these days. It's got the same energy levels, well, it's slightly better energy levels than a tonne of wheat. You won't buy wheat for 160 quid. And if you have got some decidedly iffy forage out there, one thing you can do is pour molasses on it, it will eat it. So if you've got a tank, it's worthwhile ringing your merchant and asking what price you'll get your molasses for us. Cereals and beet pulp. Beet pulp's excellent, there's not much about. You're looking to buy a cake or a concentrate with a minimum of 12.5 ME. The trouble with that is, I'm sure, is that almost all the millers will tell you theirs is 12.5 or 13.5 or whatever. It depends how you look at the analysis to get that figure. Energy is expensive, so if you've got a cheap cake and he tells you it's high ME, it's probably lying. It is a forage substitute, so come back again. You're only replacing because you haven't made it well enough for yourself at home. Of course, if you've got high lambing percentage, you're going to have to feed some. But if you can do it on your own forage, it's better. John Vipon at SAC has done an awful lot of work on quality of protein and what effect it makes on sheep. Metabolizable protein, MP, undersupplied in late pregnancy, you will compromise your immune system. We can talk about worm counts. I'll show you a graph in a minute by feeding protein, how it affects worm counts. It affects your colostrum quantity and yield, and you will get higher lamb mortality. Milk production is affected by the quality of protein. What we're talking about really is on-degradable protein rather than degradable proteins. So not proteins that come from grasses. You're talking about your soyas, you're talking about those sort of higher quality ingredients. The ration at the bottom was actually a mixture of cereal and soya, straightforward cereal and soya, nothing else in it, and it was fed at 18%. So at an 18% ration, those ewes who were getting 340, I think it works out exactly, had the best milk yield. 340 grams a day of on-degradable protein. That's what happened to the egg count. As you fed higher quality, higher levels of on-degradable protein, better quality proteins, the egg counts dropped. They weren't drenched, there was no drugs involved at all. That was simply better nutrition. Their own immune system kicked in and helped. So that's something that maybe, again, should be looking at. It's not on the slides at all, but we've done quite a lot with different forages, and chicory is the one everyone talks about. The flake away counts drop really quite a long way if you feed different forages. So there's other ways, apart from looking at different drenches, that you could perhaps look at to do this. Improved immune status is really what we're saying. So you increase your resistance to worms, better lamb growth because there's less worms on the pasture. Mr. Vipon's come up with a figure that says feed 100 grams of soya per lamb expected for the last 3 weeks of pregnancy. Now there are other ways. Again, there's not much room in there. I would say to you that these days you can get treated soy, soprolins. You can get products that are specifically amino acids added to them, lysine, methionine, those amino acids that are very important. They're expensive. You don't have to feed very much. So a little bit of that might be worth considering if you think, I haven't got much decent protein right. Home mixers certainly, I say they are expensive, but you don't have to feed vast quantities. 100 grams of soya per lamb, put it into perspective, make the maths dead easy. Soya is only 50% protein, so that's only 50 grams of protein itself, and actually it's only about 26% on-degradable, so between 26 grams of on-degradable protein is all he's asking. And he says, with good quality forage, 1.5% lambs per ewe, that's all you need to feed.